Alright everyone, this is Susie Kim with OnGameNet Global. I'm sitting here with Doa, one of our English casters. That's right, this is Doa.
Hi, I'm Doa.
Now, with Worlds around the corner, we know that Monte Cristo is going to be on the analyst desk, but you had said on your Twitter that you're not involved. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, no, I mean, I was not involved last year at all, and I'm not going to be involved this year as far as I know as well, too. And I mean, it's just one of those things where, you know, of course I'd like to be. It's always a little bit bittersweet, you know, to see Worlds and, like, see the culmination of everything I've been casting this year and not get to really be involved. But at the same time, like, if you look at it from Riot's perspective, I think it's really easy to see why. I mean, they've got play-by-play casters, they've got hosts already, and it makes a lot more sense to bring those guys and to hire me from outside and all that, because that would definitely be a lot more expensive, you know, and it just, I wouldn't want to take a spot that an actual Riot employed caster would have had otherwise too. That's just weird. So yeah, it is disappointing. It's always kind of a bummer, but I'll still get to watch and it's still fun. And I mean, I'm kind of the analyst for OG and Hearthstone anyway, so I've got a lot of work to do at that game.
Oh, that's right.
And I mean, I think people forget that sometimes, is that I'm not just like a solo game caster. I do multiple games. So for me to, you know, put that much time into it when I've got the Hearthstone stuff going for OG at the same time would be kind of hard too. It's always hard to like switch back and forth between games, but yeah, it's nice to get some time to focus on Hearthstone anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, what are you gonna be doing in the meantime? Because obviously there's no champions during Worlds.
Yeah.
And so while Monty's off, actually in LA, which kind of sucks for him.
Sucker.
What are you gonna be doing in the meanwhile?
I'm gonna be playing a lot of Hearthstone, getting ready to cast the round of 8 and on with Artosis, who's gonna be really fun to cast with. I cast the King of the Hill for IRThu every single week with Artosis, so I'm really excited to get to partner up with him for the OGN event too right now.
Yeah.
And also just playing a lot. I mean, I'm on Golden Coin, which is one of the biggest Hearthstone teams in Korea, so a lot of matches with them, a lot of practice to do, and yeah, so I don't know, just a lot of Hearthstone studying and playing and tons of fun.
Okay, well, have you been following the any of the playoffs and things like that?
Yeah, I try to watch as much as I can. I mean, especially NA. I don't really watch a lot of Europe, honestly. I think the only reason I really pay attention to NA as well too is because that's where I'm from, you know. So
right.
Even though we all know it's going to be Samsung White versus Blue in the finals of Worlds, it's obvious, guys. Come on. Even though we know that, I still want my home region to do well, you know. So I'm still hoping for maybe a semifinal from like C9 or TSM or, you know, maybe LMQ. You know, we've kind of adopted them into the NA scene, I guess, at this point. So I'm fine with that too. But yeah, I mean, you're always kind of rooting for the home team.
Okay, fair enough. So as you know, a lot of the teams are here doing a Korean boot camp right now. Do you think that's you were here to see the whole CLG boot camp thing as well?
Yeah.
Do you think it's beneficial for these teams to be doing this?
I think it's good to get practice against the Korean teams. I think you definitely can't get worse practicing against the best teams in the world. I mean, that certainly doesn't hurt. I think it really is on the players, though. I mean, you know, they have to make the most out of this time. You know, playing against those teams isn't enough. You know, you need to play against those teams, but also be willing to put in the practice and put in the time to figure out, you know, why you might be losing to them, why you might be winning against them, what you need to change against what opponents you're going to have in Worlds, because now we know what group stages are.
Right.
So, you know, I think it really is on the players, it's on the coaches and analysts to really make the most of it, because, like, scrimming against Koreans will get you, you know, just in games against Koreans. You have to, like, take that, though, and apply it to what you're going into Worlds. And so, you know, we've seen teams come and go from Korean. We've seen, you know, teams benefit from that and maybe not so benefit so much from that, too. So, it's going to be interesting to see what comes of it. It's funny to have like so many teams out here right now, though.
It is kind of crazy. Well, like you said, what they take from it, what they may not take from it. What are some pros and cons, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, like we said, I mean, I think it's all about taking the knowledge you learn from the Koreans and applying that to the groups, especially if you're practicing against, you know, I doubt some of these guys are practicing against the same Korean teams that they're going to play against in groups and things like that. But, you know, getting more into, you know, what sort of picks are more popular here, especially in the top lane and things like that, that we may have differences in EU and all that. Like, nobody plays Aatrox here, right? But it's all over Europe. You know, there are differences here. Aurelia pops up much more in other regions than she does in Korea a lot of times. So, yeah, I mean, champion picks, getting used to playing against different things. I think the lane swapping that's done here is a lot more crisp in a lot of cases as well, and it's kind of fallen off. You know, that meta is fallen by the wayside a little bit in Korea at this point, but there's still things, of course, that the Western teams can learn from the Koreans, and, you know, I would say vice versa, too.
I was going to say, probably vice versa as well.
I mean, from an analytical perspective, I'm of course, not really as in-depth on that side of the law things.
Right.
But I can kind of relate it to, being an analyst for StarCraft 2 and seeing the foreigners coming in and practicing with the Koreans. And, there was learning definitely on both sides.
Right.
And I had something really cool that I was going to say, but I totally forgot it. But
we'll come back to it.
Okay, if I remember it, I'll say it. But it was about like foreigners practicing in Korea.
Okay, well, I'm wondering. You said you want to root for the home team. Do you have a favorite team?
A favorite team outside of Korea?
Both.
Not really. Because it's hard to be a favorite of any team when you're a caster. I mean, I'm a fan of SKT because I was a fan of SKT before I casted LoL. Like, I was a fan of SK Telecom before they had a LoL team,
right.
So it was easy to jump in at that point. But I don't really have anybody in any of the other regions that I'm like, really rooting for more than anybody else, and I'm going to be like sad if they lose or something like that.
Okay.
I hope the best for them, but if they don't win, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, I guess.
Okay.
I'm a very fair weather fan.
So, obviously, we're not going to see you in Taipei or Singapore. Are you at least going to go down to Busan and watch the semifinals?
So.
Or?
Man, if they don't have a ticket for me for that, I'm going to be very disappointed. Come on, Rito, please. I hope so. I hope I'm in Busan to check that out. I'm definitely going to be in Seoul, so
right.
We'll see. I don't think there's any sort of overlap with Hearthstone, so that should be fine as far as I'm thinking of. And, I'm also busy with my new dog as well, too. I bought a puppy about a month ago, so
I know.
It's taking a lot of time, but she's super cool.
I was actually going to ask you about your new dog. I was.
Okay, all right.
So tell us about this new dog.
It's fun. I mean, I know a lot of people knew I had a cat, and then, suddenly I didn't have a cat and I had a dog again. They're like, whoa, what's going on?
It's actually the same animal. He doesn't know the difference.
That's right. Someone's just like, now you have a dog. And I'm like, oh, this is a very furry dog, and he jumps really high for dogs. That's really unique. No. But, no, this cat, just to give you some backstory, I feel the story needs to be told now. I was looking for a pet, right? And I thought I'd be good guy Doa and adopt a pet, right? I didn't want to go to PetStore and get one. So I found this cat through a pet adoption website for expats that's in Korea.
Right.
And so I went to meet this guy. The cat, it was a kitten it was about a year old, a little bit less than a year old. Seemed nice at the time. The dude told me he was allergic to the cat and all that and had to get rid of it. And I'm like, all right. So, everything seemed fine. I got this cat home. And it was like a completely different animal. It it hissed at me. It would claw me. I still have scars on my hands where this thing attacked me. It would destroy everything. And so I think what happened in the end is that he told me he was also a first-time cat owner. I think maybe he didn't do the best job. And to be fair, I was a first-time cat owner too. So I don't think I was ready to handle this kind of
crazy
pet
cat.
rescue, right? So he just needed a lot more attention than I could give him. He's especially needy for a cat. So I ended up taking the train 2 hours away to give him to a family that was a mom and a dad and a child as well. So the last I heard, he was doing great and he's mellowed out a lot.
Good.
It was definitely a nightmare while he was in my apartment. I got no sleep. My casting probably got a lot worse during that few months. But
so this new cat, dog.
Yes, it's dog. That's right. This new dog. I mean, I got her, just as a puppy. She was only I think 9 weeks old or something like that. And so she's great. I mean, of course chewing on everything and all that, but awesome dog and a lot of fun and a lot more work than the cat was,
right.
But a lot more fun too. I think the other thing I learned is I'm just much more of a dog person. So don't worry, I'm not just taking in pets and then randomly
throwing
out and being next pet. I'm just I needed to get rid of that cat, guys. He was insane. So
we'll see about that. You guys follow him on Twitter, and we'll see what the next pet is.
I didn't like the cat, but I still wanted a pet, So now mission complete. I've got a friend I can spend the next apparently 12 to 15 years is about for pugs, so it's gonna be fun. Yeah.
Really cute pug, to be honest. I've met
is.
her, and she's actually bit my lip before.
You had it coming.
We're making out.
Hey,
I'm kidding. Okay.
What are you doing with all your
all right. We're gonna bring it back to gaming. So, all right. So if you're fans, obviously they're not gonna be watching you cast League, but if they wanna see more, they just need more of Doa. Where can they go?
Well, right now, I guess I would say just watch my Twitter above all else, because I'm going to be starting to do some of the Golden Coin Hearthstone stuff. That's, again, my Korean Hearthstone team. Going to be doing some of their matches in English in the coming weeks. Again, irthew.com to see the King of the Hill that Artosis and I do every week. And, of course, OGN, coming to watch the Hearthstone tournament there, China versus Korea. Although now it's just Renia, or the Korean player, versus China completely. It's 1 versus 7, but which is sad for Korea, but it doesn't really matter for like the global viewers because we just want to see good Hearthstone.
Right.
So it's awkward on the Korean side, but on the global side, it's still an awesome tournament. So definitely watch that. That's twitch.tv/OGN_Hearthstone. You can actually find the VODs for free even, so definitely watch that.
Awesome. And as you guys know, OnGameNet.com is a fully English website now.
Yep.
And so you guys can find everything that you need there.
Finally!
Yay!
Yes! Finally!
All right. Well, thank you, Doa, for this interview. And
anytime.
We will see more of you guys later.